Good evening, everybody. Thank you for joining. This is the second part of the Panda Adaptive Defense webinar. We're happy to have Conrado Crespo again with us. Good evening, Conrado. Thank you. Thank you
Good
for
evening.
joining.
Thank you very much for inviting me in. Thank you very much.
How are you feeling today? Everything great so
I'm
far?
great. I'm great. I did my training yesterday. I ran for more than an hour, and today I'm very powerful. I'm
Great.
recovering. Yes.
Excellent, because we need all your powers today, because this is a deep dive to adaptive defense, and we're all ears to listen to what um, interesting things you have to share. So the screen is yours, and the microphone is yours too.
Lovely. Then I'm going to start the chronograph just to be on time. I think we have 30 minutes. Good afternoon, everyone.
If everybody is okay, and please, if you're not, just chat via the chat box. This might take a bit longer today because it's a deep dive. And yes, maybe we have like 35 or 40 minutes if it's okay with you, with the audience, because we need to be sure that we'll cover every detail and aspect of adaptive defense. So during the webinar, as always, all questions via the question tab on the right, and as many answers as we can, questions will be answered in the last 3 to 5 minutes. Okay,
Lovely.
so Conrado, it's yours.
Okay. Panda Adaptive Defense, this is the second part. In the first part, I introduced you to the main concepts, how the market is going through this new overwhelming situation of crime, cyber crime, and how Panda has been working for the last 10 years on a new security approach. So today we're going to take a deep dive into the solution itself, into the console. We can see the details. Being a Panda Security solution, you will see the console is quite straightforward, quite convenient, and easy to learn. Okay, so that's one of the great things about this model. The learning curve is very fast. So we will be talking about EDR protection for enterprises by using Panda Adaptive Defense. Okay, the agenda is we will be covering the architecture itself of adaptive defense. I explained you the benefits, the differentiators, and the key features of this technology. But I think it's worthwhile to get into how it is arranged. Okay, this orchestra, how it's directed. Okay, then we will jump into the demo itself, into the console. The code name of the console is Ether. Okay, it's a brand new, renewed console, and the reason for this new console is that since we were getting key accounts, okay, very big customers, telco customers, and these customers are managing thousands of endpoints. They required from us a more agile console capable to cope with hundreds of thousands of endpoints, and also the capability to send any update in real time to the endpoint. So we had to put the money on on development and just to disclose and to release this new console, which is Ether. Some of the largest accounts we have, they're still in the older version, and during this year they will have to migrate. It requires some changes, but as far as new customers is concerned, they go straight into Ether. So for them, it's quite straightforward. And then, if we have time, I will show you advanced reporting tool, which is a very nice feature that we provide on top of adaptive defense and based on all the information that we, as you know, keep in the cloud, which has a very different value for different purposes. Okay. Now, just a reminder how traditional antivirus solutions are different from adaptive defense. If you check the upper box, you see that for a traditional antivirus solution, many of them are still in the market, and they will be, okay. For them, everything is about malware. Okay, they are focused on malware, so they stop no malware. They have to work on suspicious files, which is something that they do, as a homework. Okay, and for a traditional antivirus, all the rest is okay. Okay, it's going to allow it to execute. So that represents a risk. And adaptive defense, as we explained last week, it's got this simple model, which is simplify the things like one executable or DLL library, etc. Any portable executable is considered a malware. Either it's a malware or it's a goodware, which is something that we have to attest. So if you remember, we provide a 100% attestation service. So what do we do with unknown things, unknown elements, new executables that we encounter? Okay, those are elements which have to be attested, evaluated. They go into the classification queue, and then they got under investigation as a managed service. So this imposes no kind of work on the end user, no need for a specific or highly skilled security administrator, and we are responsible for this right classification. So at the end, everything should fall into one of those two categories: malware or goodware. And Panda is the company or the authority which is attesting, which is certifying. I don't like the word certifying; it's more attestation. We attestate that this executable, this element, is either goodware or a malware. Okay, so this brings us the zero risk approach. Okay, which is the objective that many security departments and companies should go for. Okay, so just to explain the architecture of adaptive defense, we have this model which goes in a continuous mode in three phases or three stages. Okay, on top of this, I have to tell you, you already know this, we have a big data analytics and endpoint enforcement platform. Okay, we have all the information and all the analytics stored in the cloud, in Azure Cloud, Microsoft Azure Cloud. And let's see this icon. There's this. Okay, sorry. So first stage is about how we get the information from the endpoint. For this, we deploy a tiny agent which serves two purposes. The first one is to collect information of all actions which are triggered by the programs on the endpoint. Okay, so this information is sent to the cloud. It's sent to the cloud continuously, and this information then will be processed. The second part that the endpoint agent is concerned is a local advanced protection, which goes beyond, let's say, the traditional antivirus protection. So it serves two purposes. It also queries the cloud when some executable attempts to run. So it gets an answer from the cloud in terms of this is a goodware, this is malware, or this is something that we still don't know. So it requires attestation. So this is the first stage, which is the continuous endpoint monitoring through this agent. Okay. Now this data stream goes up to the cloud, to our big data analytics platform, where we analyze and correlate all actions monitored on all our customers' endpoints, and we leverage artificial intelligence, data mining, and so on. This kind of techniques. So we store everything in a non-real-time database. We have a real-time correlation engine, The third circle that you see there is the classification cluster. Its code name is the ranker. The ranker is in charge of providing a final verdict. Right now it's 99.9998, okay, of resolution. In those cases where the result is uncertain in a small way, it has to go to a group of security personnel, highly skilled security professionals, which are going to take a look into the proof of into the element, just to get the final attestation result, which can be, as you know, goodware or malware. So at the end, the objective is just to provide a final verdict without no kind of hesitation. Okay, so if we are to state something it's a malware, you can give for granted that this is actually a malware, and goodware applies the same. Okay, so how do we close the circle? With all the conclusions that we have on this platform, we harden and enforce the endpoint agent by blocking all suspicious or dangerous process and with alerts. We also, apart from this job of hardening of the endpoint, we improve in real time all the countermeasures that the local protection, the local advanced protection has. So this is the model. It's a continuous visibility, analyze, and reinforcement model. Okay, the idea here is just to prevent any intrusion in as fast as we can. Okay, this is like a race. Okay, we have to move faster, and for that, I think we have a very effective and easy to implement solution for end customers. Okay, so okay, I think we go now to the demonstration. Okay, this is the Ether console. Okay, and this platform is quite innovative because from here we are going to be capable to manage from now on all Panda Security solutions. This was one of the purposes or the objectives of this new platform. Single agent, single console for all Panda products. This is going to make administration and new developments more easy for us. Okay, and also for the customers, because they will have to less administrative task to carry out. So Ether, this platform, you see Adaptive Defense 360 on Ether platform. This is going to provide us a very huge control, flexibility, and granularity. So the administrators will be able to manage networks of hundreds, thousands of computers. So as I said, it's including highly demanded advanced features like the discovery of unprotected computers, filters, roles, activity tracking, and in the future we're going to implement other kind of good things like patch management. Okay, but that's in the roadmap, and we will see in the future, in the next year, how this platform is going to bring us the best. Okay, so I have to remark this: all these features are going to be or are available to organizations into a single web console with a single agent and in real time. I think the main word or the main motto for this Ether platform was real time. Okay, so the idea is to enable the security administrators to be able to respond to any critical security incident within seconds. Okay. Okay, so let's get into the console. Once that you get into the main console, you see the protection status here. Okay, So this dashboard is going to show you the main security problems that you organization may have, like unprotected computers, okay, like with errors or problems during the installation of the agent, okay, endpoints without a license, okay. Then you have also the capability to see the unprotected computers discovered. So, networking corporations is it's a kind of living thing. You will remove, you will add new systems, and then you will have at a glance how many new elements are being discovered, which are not being managed by Panda Data Defense 360. I'm not sure if you remember, but last week we said that it only takes one single compromised endpoint to compromise the rest of the network, just one. So in many corporations, this is critical because they have to make the inventory of the endpoints and then to manually manage who of them are protected or not, and then going to the console and install it. In this way, you have at a glance this information at hand. So this is aimed to improve security and to make administrators' life easier. Okay. Then you have this one here: classification of all programs run on scan. We are checking this information for the last 7 days, but we're going to extend it for the last month. Okay. So we will have more evidences here to show you. Um, so this chart displays a classification of all the programs and libraries run in the organization. Okay, so as you know, we just not classify malware, but we inspect all of the programs, all of the processes as well. So the idea is to minimize the risk of infection. If we go to, for instance, malware activity here, you see trusted programs. This is good where malware is 14 events, okay, or cases. Then we have exploits, which is requires a different treatment, okay, exploits, and potentially undesirable processes, okay, which are spyware and other kind of malicious actions that could be hidden, into allegedly legit software that you install. The user install it with consent. Okay, so that's a reason why this category cannot go into the malware category, because it would represent an issue, a legal issue. Because if you install, a PDF printer and you agree with installation, okay, this is a legit application, but sometimes it can do things which are not extremely related to what the user expected to do, like access to certain files or to connect to certain external IPs and sending URL histories and so on. So this is the other classification. Okay. So if we get into malware activity, we see that there were 14 incidents. Okay. So what we see here is the information about the malware detected, whether it is ransomware, a target attack, a Trojan. So these were detected by the protection in real time when they tried to enter a system, okay, or take action in it. So if we, for instance, take this one, okay, which happened on Windows Desktop 1, this is the taxonomy of the attack, okay, and the path, and we have some indicators here. This one is that he ran. I mean, the malware started to run, didn't access to personal information. This can be something interesting just to check, because if this malware access to data, perhaps we are facing an exfiltration attempt. And also this box which states whether this malware made external connections or not. In this case, yes, it made external connections. Okay. Okay, we check here. We click. you see you have all the details. You have the name of the thread, okay, the name of the thread. It is allowed because otherwise we couldn't be showing this to you. Okay, we had to trick this demo environment. Okay, the affected computer, the detection path, the threat impact on the computer. Okay, you can search on virus total whether this attack is known or not. This is file not found, so this is a 0-day or some attack which has not been detected by other uh, antivirus engines yet. Okay, and you can see the infection source IP address, user was logged on at the moment of the infection. You can see other same occurrences on other computers in your network, okay, and the date it was first seen. If you go to the activity itself, you can see all the actions that this attacker was taking, okay, and also you can go to activity graph, and it's going to show you in a graphic manner, okay, how this malware behaves. If I go to the first node, this is timeline, Saturday, 6th of January. Okay, I'm not sure. I'm going to make it a little bit higher. You see there's a number of icons and colors. Okay, in this moment we have, okay, I want to run it. Okay, let's see how this behaved. So when you start in time, you see that this malware is doing things. Okay, over time, the malware is doing its job. Okay, so as you can see here, there's a danger level, which is represented in colors. For instance, green means goodware. So in this case, this is Chrome. Chrome is running processes. Okay, so green, it's okay. Then you have orange. Orange were processes which were in the classification process. Okay, so were unknown at that particular moment. And blue are actions taken by those monitored processes. Okay, so you have here a graphic tool for forensic teams just to analyze the behavior of the malware. Okay, so in this case, it shows how the user downloaded a file, which appeared to be a video, but it is not. Okay, it's an executable file. The user believes this is a video file. And this one instead turned out to be a program that was downloading components. Okay, install them later. You see from here, it's receiving information. Okay, we are checking all the actions. Receives data from several IPs, external IPs. Okay, and then we keep track of all this. Okay, then establish communication with United States. We have this, for instance, this one. We from these coordinates, from this IP address, we position the country, okay, and also the geographic coordinates. So this one received data and connected to the United States, okay. So this can represent a risk of data theft, or perhaps the attack is motivated by industrial espionage. Okay, so this is up to forensic teams to work with. Okay, but you have the means to examine it and to have full visibility of all that's been happening in that endpoint during the attack. Okay. So for examples, for instance, I have this one here, genetic.gen, this attack. Okay, this malware tries to or pretends to be a crack for a software named Beyond Compare, but actually what it is actually doing, as you can see here, is just connecting to multiple IP addresses. Okay, this is the crack downloader. that any regular user could use to, just to override a license payment for something that he has downloaded. And this one, what it's doing is downloading information, and it's running multiple applications. If I go to the beginning, you see, starts here, Chrome creates process executable from Chrome, and then if I start, rename BA file. So you see this, it's doing a lot of things, okay? This is another example. Last one is, I have a crypto wall here, I think. This one, crypto wall. So this is a crypto locker variant, okay? It's a crypto locker variant. So this enters the system through legit programs or legitimate programs through internet browser or PowerShell. Okay, you see this is a system tool just to run scripts, very powerful. And we prevented this ransomware from executing because we monitor every program running on the endpoint. So even trusted programs that may become an entry point for malware. So this is quite important. We are monitoring malware unknown, but we check the actions, originated from legitimate software, right? Now, if we take a look into the potential, this one, poop activity, same applies, okay? So you can solve the programs classified as potentially unwanted programs, which are categories like spyware, hacking tools, toolbars. Okay, so this misbehavior was detected by the protection in real time. Okay, so these kind of malware or poops, they can degrade the computer performance. They can cause incompatibility with certain corporate programs. They consume bandwidth. So it's a different, kind of malware. Okay, you can see this one is quite simple in Python. Okay, okay, and then we have the exploits. This exploit activity. Okay. Exploits are detected in the vulnerable processes which are run by the users. I mean, when a process or like an application becomes vulnerable, it can receive inputs which are maliciously crafted by the hackers. Then can be an internal malfunction that allows the attacker to inject fragments of malicious codes into memory areas. And then the problem with this is that the only way to stop it is just by killing or closing the application which was compromised. Okay, we say that this process becomes compromised. So the injected code can cause the compromised processes to execute actions which can be malicious. So Panda Adaptive Defense incorporates now, it has an anti-exploit protection. Okay, this is something relatively new. We released this like 5 months ago because this was requested as well. Some anti-exploiting protection just to avoid attempts to inject malicious code into a vulnerable process. Of course, the best way is just to patch all applications, but we all know that it's not always possible. Okay. So, as I say as well, patching is something which is addressed in the product roadmap. So I'm not sure when, but eventually you will be able from this console launch the command to patch the application at the endpoint level. So that's very interesting as well. I'm not sure. Time. Okay. This is also very interesting. Currently, blocked programs being classified. These are the current blocked applications which are right now in the process of classification. Okay, so the graphics I showed you before uh, relates to this. Okay, everything which is unknown, okay, has to go up. The first element that we detect, which is unknown for everyone, will go to the classification process in the cloud, awaiting for this final verdict. In the meantime, you can check more or less things that this unknown process attempted to do. But then you see the protection mode of your configuration setup, okay, and you have some approximation or some guess likelihood of this element to be malicious or not. Okay, so if you are curious about this one, you can check the activity. Okay, you can see the activity graph. Okay, and then you can investigate yourself. But at the end, you will have to wait for the answer. Okay. Um, if I mean, there's a possibility here if you recognize this element to be legit because it's something that you have developed and you take the responsibility for this. So this is a kind of exception. You can unblock it. Okay, you can unblock it. The administrator can unblock it. So if the blocked item is an exe file or a conf file, if you unblock it, it's going to allow not only the execution of this file, but the execution of all programs and libraries on all computers that this element is using. So you just need to create this single exclusion to allow a program and all related components. Okay. Anyway, in spite of this action, Adaptive Defense will continue monitoring all processes, even those who were excluded from this. Okay, you can exclude it, but we are going to classify it. Okay, so all software at the end is going to be properly classified. We're going to have this 100% classification process done. Okay. Okay, I think this is the most relevant part. Then you have threats detected by the antivirus. Okay, you see here Adaptive Defense 360. This means that Adaptive Defense is concerned about classification, malware, currently blocked programs, poop activity, and exploit activity. And the 360 part is the EPP element that is as well in the agent. We provide EDR plus EPP features into a single agent. So we provide you with all the information which comes from the antivirus. Okay, all intrusion attempts, content filtering. We provide as well this information. Okay. Now for computers, something very nice is that we have complete visibility of all elements protected. For instance, if I want to check into these are servers, these are Windows, this one is this Ultimate, this Windows 7, for instance. If I check into it, I can have the details of that computer, IP addresses, physical connectivity details, MAC address, domain, Active Directory path. I have everything. Licenses, last boot update, the status of the protection, okay, version. I have a full visibility of hardware details like CPU, how it performs the usage in the last 24 hours, for instance. I can change this. I have full visibility. How many CPUs this endpoint has, okay, kind memory banks used or not, okay, disk status, use free, serial number. We have all information about the elements that we protect. Also for software installed, okay, we have everything here. So this is can be of very interesting to the administrators. Okay, general proxy language, etc., etc., etc. Okay. As you can see, we have full full control of the assets that we protect. Okay, I'm not sure how are we on time or not. Or hello,
Hello?
yeah, I'm not sure how are we going in terms of time. How much
In
time?
terms of time, we have about 5 to 7 minutes.
Okay, then I go to the advanced reporting tool. Okay, because
Great.
as you can see, this is quite straightforward. It brings you visibility. You can have access to the computers. You can manage them from here. You can set, you can change the settings from here. It's quite straightforward. So if I go through advanced protection, you see there's very few parameters that you can change. That's just the operational mode of whether or not you want to the anti-exploit protection run. Sometimes can be a little bit tricky because there are a lot of exploits. So in some moments this can be really a problem from the user administrator point of view. Okay. So I think I will go straight to advanced reporting tool. Advanced reporting tool is is based on Lack Trust platform. It's a company which is we have shared stockholders, okay. And from this platform, what we do is just sending all the information. I'm going back to this one. All the information that we have here in our big data analytics platform, okay, which is enriched and structured, okay, because this is non-real. All this information in real time is sent to log trust platform. So it's a kind of log management platform, kind of a scene. Okay, so from here we have developed a number of sorry, this is in Spanish, so I should change that. Okay, anyway, I will just to I don't want to lose more time. We have some vertical, some applications that we have developed on top of this information that is available through this data model. There's a number of files where all the information we collect from the endpoints is really available to make queries. You see, like install, hooks, files download, drivers, alert, files which were accessed, operations. Okay, if I check here, you can see we are seeing information in real time. Okay, so you see event date from which machine, which user, which operation. Okay, so this is all the information in a more readable way. Okay, so from here you can create nice reports, and you can let's say have a better insight of what's going on. It's a way to work on the information that you already have. For that, we have developed a number of a number of um, a number of applications here, like application control. From here, you can see in the last 24 hours, which applications were executed in the group of endpoints that you manage through adaptive defense. Okay, you can have nice insights here when we do proof of concepts and solve this on the information of the actual customer. They you know they get very interested. Okay, because they see all the power that they can get from that. Another example is Microsoft Office licensing use in the last 24 hours. You can change this filter as well. Okay, you could change this from Monday. Okay, and then you could see how many licenses are actually in use. You can download the information in CSV format in order to pass it to systems administrator. So the purpose of this is not only security, but also systems management and so on. This is very nice if you want data control, if you want to know what's happening with your information. Okay, you see the annual calendar of outbound network traffic. If you check here, this day there was like 100 megabytes that went out. The countries with more connections, external connections, United States, Spain, you see some North Korea or something like that here, something wrong is going on. Okay, so you have the map of outbound network traffic. Okay, so this is all collected. All the information that we present here is information coming from the endpoint, and then passed through the correlation and intelligence platform of Panda Security and sent to this platform, which enhances the visual capabilities and the easiness of exploiting or using this information. You have users activity, which users were logged at which endpoints. From here, perhaps you can investigate whether one user was logging on different laptops. Who knows? Perhaps this is a kind of suspicious behavior. Bandwidth consumers, which are the greedy consumers, those who are really consuming all the bandwidth in the corporation. Okay, if you see this one, Spotify. Okay, so this is something that you should check attention to. Okay, you should pay attention to this one, because almost 10% of the traffic, of the inbound network traffic, is people listening to music. Okay, if you see here Dropbox, okay, perhaps you should pay attention to this. Okay, may represent something against the corporate policy. Okay, machine user, machine, and gigabytes of information received. You could investigate, for instance, this user. Why is he receiving so much traffic? What is he downloading? Okay, and also who is sending information outbound? Okay, all these things. Which files were accessed? Okay, in this case, the information is a mask for sense, security reasons. You can define this. You can have the name of the file fully visible here, but this can be also very interesting in order to detect strange patterns or access to files which shouldn't be. Okay, users, extensions, top 10 execute extensions. You see, so you have all this information from the cloud of Panda. You also have security incidents. Okay, you can check the calendar, all the key security indicators. It's taking time. Okay, so from here you can start your investigation. You can create reports. You can go into this and see which elements were executed and in which endpoint, what's executed or not. I mean, the platform is quite flexible. Of course, requires a little bit of training, but at the end, it's a formidable tool to visualize, to have full visibility in a more readable way. Okay, in order to create reports, in order to make a deeper investigation into the incidents. Okay, this information that we are sending to LogTrust, we have a connector. The name is SIM feeder, and we can do the same thing. We can go and send to your customer's choice of SIM. We can send the information straight from here, whether it can be a curator or ArcSight or any common SIEM vendor in the market, because we support SEF and LEF formats. And this is what I can tell you. Some of the big customers where they have a good group of security departments, for them having this at hand in the SIEM is really to close the circle, because they already have all logs coming, all logs coming from the DNS, from the IPS, from the firewalls, from the many devices that they use uh, inside in the perimeter, but they lack of information coming from the endpoints, and this is the element that they like most, because this it's something that goes beyond the endpoint protection. It's having the capability to get information gathered by the agent, and then correlate this information with other logs that we don't have access to, of course, because we are focused on the endpoint. But it's up to security teams just to look for new vectors of infection, new behaviors, and then correlate and make the things work, and to create more realistic and quality alerts. Okay, so I think I will stop here.
Yes, because we're run out of time, but it was really so comprehensive and straightforward demonstration that we could really listen to you for for at least one more hour, because it's really, really useful content, and the way that you present it. Thank you so much for your time. We have a set of questions. The only one that I have time, just because it's a yes or no answer, is about the technical support you provide as Panda,
Uh-huh.
and the availability, the how can we contact support. So
Okay, can I answer this one about technical support?
yes, please. Yes, please.
Yes, yes, okay, okay. Um, uh, we have okay. We used to work with country partners, okay, and these country partners they are giving the level 1 support, okay. So if they are capable to solve it, okay, it's up to them. They are bringing value to the chain of service to the end customer. Otherwise, they can escalate this to level 2, level 3, and then we have an SLA, okay, with our country partners, and depending on the issue, okay, it will go one way or another. It can reach even to engineering, okay, if the problem, but the problems that any customer might arise are more concerned with the agent itself. So there's a few things that can happen, but not much. I mean, at the end, it's always the same pattern, the same problems, okay. So this is something that works very well. It's not like you have a solution that you have to deploy, and then there's a lot of components that you have to cope with. This is a managed service, so the only element that the partner or the end customer can have is just at the agent. And then most of the queries are because they have, let's say, one computer which is not communicating to the cloud, and then they ask us to provide some insight why this element, or why this endpoint has not connected to the endpoint, and why the protection was not updated. And 100% of the times we are capable to explain the customer the reason and to solve it. Okay. And also you have remote systems. We can access remotely to the endpoint if the customer allows us to do. We can access to the customer console if the customer allows us to do. So I think in that sense, you can rest assured that we give a very good technical support service. Okay, I'm reading here. Okay.
All right. Thank you so much for the explanation, Conrado, and thank you so much for joining in this part of Panda webinar series. And we really hope to see you again in another one, maybe next Q one, or whenever our customers will request a revision. Thank you all so much again for joining. Everybody will take the recording as usual, and this content will be uploaded to their resellers website too, so you can view as many times as you like. As always, we're at your disposal, and Conrado as well, to answer any specific questions after the end of this webinar. Conrado, have a great rest of the day today, and I hope to talk to you soon. Thank you all
Okay.
for joining.
Thank you very much. Bye bye, everyone.
Bye bye. Bye bye, everyone.
Bye.